Good evening, JN family. Good evening, audience members. Good evening to all of you, and thank you for joining us another time for the JN Circle Thrive Together Life Class Series. We have made it to the second to last day of 2020. Can you believe it? And this is week number 4 in the series of life classes. I'm so excited to be here this evening. I'm excited about our topic. I'm excited to be closing out the year with all of you beautiful people and your wonderful energy. So thank you so much for finding your way into the space another week. We had a break for Christmas, but we're back in greatness for this evening's class. As usual, I'm going to share a couple slides just to give us a brief overview of what our class this evening will look like, okay? So we have 53 persons on, and I'm expecting more of you to come on. I know it's going to be absolutely amazing. So share screen is a thing. It's a part of our new reality. So kindly allow me to pull up. There we go. All right. So this evening, our topic is Reset in 2021, Renewing Minds, Manifesting Goals. And we're going to talk about the things this evening that will help you to do exactly that. I am your host, Kamala McWhinney. For those of you who've been on since season 1, you would have seen this space for several classes. I am a therapist and coach, and you can find me online at White Lotus Blooms, that's my brand. And this evening, I have the esteemed pleasure of welcoming to the space 3 powerful women in their own right. We have the lovely Rose Miller, who is head of the JN Foundation's BeWi's Financial Empowerment Program. We also have Dania Beckford, known to many of you as Miss Broadtail herself. That is her brand, but she's also a communication specialist and a confidence advocate. And then we're going to be joined by the warm and beautiful Rasheen Robinson, who is a vision coach and a student affairs practitioner. And as usual, a couple quick tips for how we use our space. On this platform, we're able to utilize the chat feature for you to just drop the love, drop the thank yous, drop the your comments as you go along for the discussion as we go through. We also have the raised hand feature, and I'm asking all of us this evening to utilize it. If it is that you want to come on microphone, and we welcome you on stage to ask a question of any one of our panelists, then we'll be calling on you if you raise your hand, okay? And also we have the Q&A box, which will allow you to ask questions specifically. So the chat box is for just talking, putting your emojis, dropping all the love and the thank yous. And the Q&A box is specifically for questions, and we will have our panelists answer as many of them as we can for tonight's class. So let's get to it. We're ready to start. Let me welcome on stage the fabulous Rose Miller. She has been with us for a while, talking so much truth and dropping so many truth bombs in the chat section. Welcome again to class, Rose. How are you doing this evening?
Thank you. I'm great. I am great, Kamala. Really happy to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to have you. Last week, I think it was, our week before, I saw you dropping some of those financial gems in the comment section. And so we're going to be talking this evening about how to actually have the reset, right?
Great.
I'm already seeing some comments in the chat. Beautiful host. Oh, thank you. I'm ringing in the new year, as you can see from my headwear. This is the closest I'll get to a New Year's Eve party, so I'm rinsing everything out of it. All right. So, Rose, we are almost at the end of 2020.
That's correct.
And we have learned some very hard and intriguing lessons.
I like how you put it. Yes. I like how you put it, Kamala.
Yes, I have to find some positivity in all of it, right? We have learned.
And there have been many.
Many lessons.
Yes.
Right? And I wanted to kickstart this conversation this evening, Rose, talking about the money, right? There is a very popular meme on social media now talking about where I'm going to be, where the money reside. And I want to be where the money reside.
But can I tell you, we all have money?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we all do.
We all do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I just really want to help people to understand how they can maximize what they have.
Thank you so much. I love that, Rose. And so I would love to have you guide us through some of the foundational principles, Rose. I know especially as we're having even this session with the JN family that they have made possible, that we're going to be, some of us launching into a vision boarding activity. Yes.
And that's good.
So many people are going to be having the dollar signs on their vision board. So I'm going to ask you just in a couple of seconds to help to guide us through some of the foundational principles for how to vision and, of course, manifest better financial habits. But before we do that, I want to invite our wonderful tech team to launch our pre-class poll that I'm going to ask all of you to complete. We want to get a sense of how to do, right? What are your thoughts? What you're looking forward to from class this evening? How you feel about the new year? And then I will read the results so we can all get a sense of how we are, how we're doing and what we're expecting. All right. So in a few minutes, I will read for you the results of the poll. But Rose, talk us through now. Many of us want to be real rich, and we want some whole heap of money in the new year, and we want to figure out how we can take those tiny steps over a period of time to get there. So talk us through, Rose.
All right. I like when you said many of us want to be rich, and that's a really nice goal to have.
Yes.
But for many of us, we need to reset our whole thinking with regards to money and wealth. So let's start there. And general success and financial success is just one of them. I could point you to Napoleon Hill's book when he talks about the 13 successful principles, and they're applicable so much to money. So one of them is desire. We want the desire for wealth. Yes. So we need that. We must also have the faith, though, the faith that we can do things, that we can spend it properly and so on. Definitely specialized knowledge, because the area of financial knowledge is really so wide and many of us do not delve into it sufficiently. So we lack the requisite knowledge to make sound financial choices. We also need the organized planning. Of course, we need that. Persistence is another one, but that's nothing new. If we're going to succeed at all, we have to be persistent at anything. What about imagination? Imagination and money? Yes, man. But you have to back it with, again, financial knowledge. So I just recommend upfront the book, and that's how we're going to increase our knowledge, really, by reading more, by tuning into YouTube videos and articles and so on. And when we are powered up on our financial knowledge, we are really going to be ahead of the game. So first book out this evening is Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill.
Think and Grow Rich.
Yes, awesome book.
Because I heard you mention something that I don't know if we're all on the same page. You mentioned something called desire, right?
Yes.
Desiring to be wealthy, desiring to have abundance with money,
yes,
with
yes,
financial issues. But I feel like, especially in our Caribbean context,
yes,
a lot of us have been raised to think that desiring money is evil.
You are so right, Kamala.
And
you are so right.
About the camel, it is easier for a rich man, right?
To go through the eye of a camel.
It's easier for the camel to go through the eye of the needle than it is for the rich man to enter.
Heaven. Yes.
Yes.
People, let me just tell you, the Bible speaks a lot about money in all shapes and forms. Sometimes you don't even recognize it's talking about finances. It's as if the Lord knew that we're going to have trouble with this problem, with this issue. So he spoke a lot about it. But no, it is okay to desire wealth. It is absolutely okay to desire wealth.
Strong question. Word. Let me pull up the poll so that we can see our results and then we can get into the meat.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask the tech team to just launch the poll results. Here we go. All right. So the question, how would you describe your current mood? 52% of you say happy, 37% say, 52% say okay, 37% say happy, and 4% of you say ecstatic and we like it. How are you feeling about the upcoming new year? 37% say excited, Rose, 27% okay, 22% neutral. We have 14% saying that we're feeling anxious and we understand that.
I understand completely.
One person said they're feeling sad about the upcoming new year. And it's a judgment-free zone. So we fully appreciate all of your responses. And we're going to do with some resources this evening. Are you setting resolutions or intentions for the year? 53% of you say yes, 27% say kind of starter-ish, and 20% no. What are you expecting from class? It's important for us, Rose, to do our job, right?
Right.
32% say tips on how to achieve specific goals in 2021.
All right.
46% of you said tips on how to adjust my mindset for a winning year. So the mindset piece is key in terms of what we're doing for today. Right. And 23% of you said practical advice on how to do a vision board. So we have that jam-packed and ready to launch.
And ready.
And the final one, 2020 has taught me to be more flexible with whatever life brings. In 2021, and 90% of our respondents said yes. And I could have guessed this response, Rose.
Yes,
I'm sure we
definitely.
have learned, yes,
Definitely.
some
If we
lessons.
don't learn the lesson, we might have to repeat it now. That's not cool.
We don't have that kind of time right now.
No, no, no.
Just to add to the conversation, Michelle Earl, thank you for your comment, Michelle. She says a lot of persons were rich in the Bible.
Yes, of
Abraham
course.
and Job were
Of
double in
course.
the end. So back over to you now, Rose, to talk about
Right.
the desire and the, all the other things you
Yeah,
mentioned.
yes, man. It's absolutely essential that we have the desire for wealth. And it's okay. It's really what we do with this wealth when you acquire it. That's the real issue. But don't misquote the scripture. The scripture said the love of money is the root of all evil, not the love of money. All right?
Not money itself,
Not
yeah.
money itself. So it's fine. So we really need the desire to acquire wealth. And as a matter of fact, the Bible also said money answereth all things, because we recognize that we would need money to do many things.
Yes.
So yes, desire wealth, and that's perfectly okay. So
And
switch that
desire alone,
mindset.
yes.
Yes, desire
Desire
it.
alone is
And
not it, because we also need the
that's right.
specialized knowledge,
The
right?
special, no man, you need the
Some of
knowledge.
the core foundational principles then, in terms of what we need to practice to move us
Okay.
from where we are now, whether we pop down poor or we have a little
Yes.
bit going on to get into abundance.
Okay. All right. And let me just also say upfront that abundance takes time, eh? So we just get that out there as well. Money needs time to grow. A lot
Yes.
of people get into trouble because they think it is an overnight thing, or even a next month or a next year. People, that is not true. All right. Hence the reason why we really need to start really early and know what we're about and take action quickly. All right. So we have some basic tools that can get you to financial security, but we have to, of course, learn how to use them. And I don't think I'm going to be talking anything new that nobody has heard before. So the truth is, we need to take action. I think that's where a lot of our issue lies. We have the head knowledge, but put it into practice now? No, sir. We don't reach
Hard.
there yet. Hard.
And it's unsexy.
Yes, exactly. But if you keep your eyes on the prize, then that will motivate you. So 4 tools basically, and we want to talk about the first tool, which is a no-brainer, and it's the budget. What? You serious, lady? That can really help us? Of course. That is the number 1 tool. You have to direct your money to where you want it to go to. If you're not directing the money is directing you, and that is not a good situation to be in.
It cannot be. Let me just check in with our family members, our audience members whom I love so dearly. Drop it in the chat for me. How many of you actually do a budget? Let's be honest now, right?
Yes.
How many of us do it consistently?
Yes. And stick to it, Kamala. And stick to it, Kamala. All right. That is the thing, the sticking to. All right. Great it is. Good. All right. So the sticking to the budget is the critical thing. All right. So the budget is really not difficult. It's really just talking about your inflow and how you're going to spend your money. And you match that with the financial goals that you have set. And we have to budget for all our financial goals, because that's how we're going to achieve them. We budget in terms of priorities as well. You know, not all over the place. What are the things that are essential?
Yes.
The needs. And you know, Kamala, some people don't understand need versus wants, you know.
Listen.
And when we do not understand those things, we are heading for trouble, because the want list don't have no end. You're really going like a siren. Wah, 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 wah. Every day you wake up, a couple more things add to the list. So you really have to be steadfast and disciplined. And you take care of the needs first. And then the like to haves can flow after that. But even if you can't take care of the like to haves now, with effective budgeting, you're going to be able to do that at some point. Right? And we're not saying you're not going to have a good time or not going to have some of the nice things. That's not what we are saying. But we are saying everything into perspective.
Yes.
And there is a great term called delayed gratification. If we ever learn how to use that to our advantage, we're also going to be ahead of the game. So our budget is going to be key. We prioritize, we take care of the needs first, and then take care of the wants. And some people need to also know that when you're budgeting, you need to put in everything in the budget. And I know something, no space, no in there for some things. I know that, right? But you budget for everything. If you didn't budget, then chances are you really should not be spending on it. And
Wow.
you might say, but I forgot to put
That's
in. And
extreme.
I would say it is probably not that important. Because if it were important, you would not forget it. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And don't be anxious about budgeting. Just start simply by tracking your expenses so you'll know where your money is going and you know how much you're spending on what. And then you craft the budget and be consistent.
Yes.
First couple months, you might not get it. But if you are methodical, if you are consistent, you are gonna ace it at some point in time. And it is to your advantage to be able to do it effectively because that is such a fundamental tool for financial security that we cannot afford not to be able to do it effectively and
I love
regularly.
that. You
All
know,
right?
Rose, I was talking to one of my sister-ins recently, and we were talking about how we can be better at managing our money. And she
Yes.
said she came across this suggestion. You know how sometimes when we have the plastic, the debit cards or the credit card,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
there can be this almost like a blind spot. It's almost
Yes.
like you don't realize that it's real money, but
Yes.
we just flash it,
Yes.
swipe
Mm-hmm.
it.
Swipe.
So there's a suggestion that whenever you want to better manage what you have for your me time, your me expenses, like
Yes.
you're eating out, your fast
Uh-huh.
food, and your little treats for yourself, pull
Right.
that money in cash. Pull
Yes.
it and have it in your purse so you can look in there and see. So you took out $1,000 today, and
Mm-hmm.
the envelope gets smaller, so that
Yes.
we can actually have that signal coming to the
Concept. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the perception that the money is going down. And it is a finite sum. And I
Right.
agree with myself, I'm going to only spend $5,000 this month on each amount or whatever it might be. But if you keep it in cash, it tends to make it easier to
And
make the connection.
that's why what they call envelope budgeting can be so effective because you share up the money in the envelopes, like your lunch, your transportation, gas, whatever, whatever, and you pull from the envelope.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, when you go into the lunch envelope to look and you only see $500 in there, you
That's what
understand that today we're walking with a sandwich or two.
you have to.
You have to, because you really, discipline is so key to effective budgeting.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make it if you're not disciplined, because there
Mm-hmm.
are always gonna be distractions,
Mm-hmm.
emergencies, if you will, and other things creeping in that you didn't plan for. But
Absolutely.
let's talk a little about that emergency money,
Mm-hmm.
because in this COVID time, a lot of people are truly understanding exactly what an emergency can look like.
Mm-hmm.
You
A
know, sometimes,
protracted emergency.
yes, what an emergency can really look like, one, and how long such an emergency can be with you. You know, there are different types of emergencies, and we know that because they don't ask us if they can come, they just appear sometimes. So we all are attuned to different types of emergencies. But we really do need an effective emergency fund, because just like COVID now, and that's why some people were in such a dire strait, because there was just nowhere to turn. There was just no buffer. And that's
Mm-hmm.
essentially what your emergency fund is. And the recommendation is really for you to have a couple months money in there that you can live 3 to 6 months if you were to land in an emergency such as COVID.
Oh Lord, a couple months
Yes,
work.
a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so we're still in the emergency mode, as Claudine is saying on screen, with this COVID. It's still
Mm-hmm.
an emergency for a lot of people,
Or
you
lots of
know.
people.
So
Yes.
our emergency fund, that's really the first fund we should seek to set up, because an emergency can happen at any time. And
Is there a recommendation, Rose, for perhaps a percentage of our income that we should put aside for a rainy day?
no, actually, what the financial experts have said, we should strive for 3 to 6 months. But there's actually an amount that is recommended for us to save every month, and that is 10% of what we earn, using the 10-10-80 formula. And
Mm-hmm.
we're going into the second tool now, which is saving, right? So it's a 10-10-80 formula that is recommended. And the 10% is what we would save. And believe it or not, Kamala and our audience, the next 10%, we're actually going to give it away. You're hearing me correctly. We're going to give it away.
So Rose, hurry up and break down the content, please, so we can understand what kind of profane things
So,
you're saying to us.
so, so we save 10%, we give away 10%, and it's the 80% that we spend every month or every week or whatever. And it comes back to one of the things that we can say, Kamala, that people who are truly wealthy, they live on less money than they earn. And hence the 80% that we're going to spend. But you know, and then another real multi-billionaire said, do not say what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving.
I love
Because
that.
a lot of people are spending first and then trying to find money to save. And wake up, it's not going to happen
Rose,
because the
I,
money
I
done.
love the savings piece, but listen, I see Dania or panelist who's coming up next, and a couple other people saying, give it away to whom, Miss Rose
All
Miller.
right. But she just answered it. She said tithe.
Somebody said, Valerie says, I guess.
Tithing, yes, yes. And as a matter of fact, if you are a kingdom person, you do that first before you save. You tithe first.
Okay.
And
So
you
10
know,
and
this
80.
this this whole nation, this whole world is built on giving. Look how much people are giving even now. If everybody were to hug money, which is a very bad attitude towards money, if everybody were to hug it because they believe it belongs to them, then what would happen to the world in general?
Yes.
You know? So a good attitude towards money determines and tells us that we give.
So we have gone through two of the tools. We have gone
Right.
through budgeting, we've gone through savings. We have some
Yes.
questions. I want you to wrap up the four, and then we take the questions and then come back to the buying of car and these sexy things for the new year.
All right. But I really must put this in here as well as we're under saving, because saving is where you actually start. But if you're going to build real wealth, you don't stay there. You have to graduate to investing. But if you have nothing saved up, chances are you'll have nothing to invest. So you save and you build up an accumulation, and then the opportunities come and you can invest and so on. All right. And if saving is all you're going to do, you will never, ever, ever, for emphasis, get rich. It's
Saving is
not.
all you do.
Yes, it is not going to happen.
Wow.
And that is no negotiations. It is just not going to happen. You must graduate to investing.
Powerful.
All right. So tool number 3 is credit. And you might say, credit
is bad.
No, you have good credit and you have really bad credit. And so it is for us now to determine where we fall and the things that we're going to use the money for. What is it going to gain us, if anything? We really should not credit things like consumables. Try very hard when you're utilizing credit to make sure that it's going to enhance your financial well-being, especially when it involves a lot of money.
When it's a consumer rules, break it down.
Yeah, even the television and the this and the that and so. When you're using credit, it is best to make sure that it is being used to enhance your wealth, to create wealth, to purchase assets instead of things. Because remember now, when you're trying to figure out your net worth, it's going to be your assets minus what you owe. And if the money you have taken is just buying things, they are really depreciating more than appreciating. Assets appreciate. So when you try to figure out your net worth, you're going to really have something to count.
Rose, I love that you're introducing us to this concept of our net worth, because oftentimes we Google the net worth of people who are rich and famous.
Yes.
But
yes.
You're helping us to even start to assess our mindset tonight.
That is correct.
And think about my net worth. I don't think many of us think about it. So thank you for introducing that.
My net, and we should actually check it every year and to make sure that we are making progress. When you see it in the black, you know that something is happening. If it's in the red, then you also know that something is happening, but something very negative is happening. And so you should take steps to try and move it in the other direction, to the nice black color.
Right.
Yes. And credit is really good too, you know, Kamala. Credit is really good. You can use it for your benefit.
Yes.
And that's what you should do. And I just want to touch a little on credit cards, because I know a lot of people are either afraid of it or they suffer badly because of it. So they're afraid of it and they don't use it. They don't want it. But when you do that, you're actually missing out on using an awesome tool.
But when discipline.
Well, discipline is a buzzword, eh? Discipline is just that word that faces you every single time. So get used to it and practice the discipline. So when you don't use a credit card, no, you could be missing out on some benefits and so on that again can help to enhance your wealth. But I agree with you, if you're not disciplined, then do beg you leave the people in credit card alone, because you're gonna be ahead of the game if you don't touch it. All right. But if you want to change that mindset and you say, boy, them say it's a good thing, so I really should try, then start with a little card that give you a little credit, manage it well, and then you can move up and graduate. But you don't have to be afraid of credit cards. You can actually use credit cards and not pay any interest on it at all. The good news, that's awesome news. Can you imagine using people money for the entire month and don't pay no interest? You can't want it any better.
I like
right?
Yes.
Yes, and not paying interest, man, you should. Financially smart people want to do that.
Love it.
So you need to just make sure that you pay your credit card bill every month and pay it on time.
Yes.
Simple as that. Every month, pay it on time, and you can use the credit and not pay any interest at all. You don't really care how much money.
In the comments, Pilar said credit card is the devil.
No, Pilar. That's what we're talking about, the mindset, Pilar. No, come on. It can be if you allow it to rule you. Yes. That's why we go back to the discipline. But it's a great tool. All right. And then the fourth tool, and I know a lot of people don't like this, they can't even make the connection between this tool and wealth. But there is a huge connection. And the fourth tool is insurance. And you say, what? Insurance create wealth? Of course. That is one of the primary purpose of insurance. There are three reasons. So insurance can create wealth for you. It can, and a lot of us probably online do have policies that are generating income. It has an investment portion, and so year after year, the sum accumulates on it. So that's a wealth creation power of insurance. And that's different from your accumulating like money, even in your bank on investment, because guess what happened? You have the insurance principle attached to it, which means that 2 months down the road, you could, God forbid, pass on. And then you have the coverage which your beneficiary would get, which would not happen if it were in probably another instrument. So you have insurance creating wealth. You also have insurance preserving the wealth that you have. I mean, it's a no-brainer. What's going to happen if you need to do surgery and don't have no health insurance? You're going to have to go into your pocket.
That's one way to interrupt wealth creation for sure.
Or to wipe you out, depending on what's going on. So if you have health insurance, then your wealth is preserved to a certain extent, because you still do have to pay some amount, but at least you can put in a claim and get back a portion of your money. So you have it creating wealth, you have it preserving wealth, and you also have insurance transferring wealth. Now, we are not a people that are into the wealth transfer yet too much.
Yes.
I'm hoping that we get there, because, in some ethnic groups, that is a big thing.
Yes.
You must have wealth to transfer to the next generation. We're not there yet. But as we get financially smarter and use our money better, then we'll find that we do have, because some people would like to take out a policy or two for their children or their grandchildren and so on, but it really can't fit into the budget, because they don't understand the discipline of many other things to create that space in the budget for insurance. But I beg you, you need to have insurance. And in these days too, whether it is critical illness, health insurance, fire, we really do need that, because it can happen to us at any time.
And Rose, I feel like especially this last point on generational wealth is a very powerful area around which many of us can start our visioning process.
Oh yes, agreed.
Because some persons on here are already parents, or to be parents soon. When you start thinking about, it's not only for me to live rich and famous,
right,
leave something tangible for my child or children and their children.
That is correct. And Kamala, I really like when people get the information about what they should do to improve their financial well-being, and you actually put it into practice,
That's it.
because that is what is going to make the difference. It
Mhm.
is not so much knowing it, it is actually getting up,
Yes,
getting out there and doing something about it.
love it.
A lot of us
Rose?
have knowledge sitting on.
Yes. So we have gone through four major tools. And hint,
Right.
hint, you're going to be tested on these in a little while. So remember them. Look, Rose, don't repeat, right? You're going to be tested on these four things in a little while. But we have a very active audience, and I love them so much this evening.
Yes.
Let me pull up a couple of the comments and one or two of the questions. I'm seeing Rani making a book recommendation. So you
Yes.
had shared one, Rose.
Yes.
Please remind them of the
Think
one.
and grow rich. Think and grow rich.
And I think Rani was sharing The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah, man, definitely a must read.
Yes. And then I'm seeing Valerie. Valerie says, invest, yes. We need to invest in metals like silver and gold. So
Yes.
we introduced us to some concepts for wealth creation. And that book is by George S. Clayson.
Yes.
I
Yes.
am seeing a couple other comments. Somebody says, I've had a credit card for years and never paid interest. I use only what I know I can pay at
You
the
go,
end of.
girl.
And
You
that is
go,
the hard
girl.
part, right?
Yes.
Say to yourself, the Bridgets can wait. To say to
Yes.
yourself,
Oh, definitely. Oh, yes.
this new outfit is not essential. I can make it wait a little bit.
Definitely.
Um, yes, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And I'm seeing so many agreements with you in terms of the purpose of insurance. So that's also wonderful.
Yes.
And we have our wonderful member ombudsman, Claudine, in the comments advocating for the fact that JN has a suite of products and services to help us to create. And I love what you say, and preserve wealth.
Yes.
So the
Definitely.
BeWi program is run by the JN Foundation, and you and your team, Rose, offer resources, consultation, teaching
Yes. Yes.
for people to
Definitely.
be able to access. I'm going
Definitely.
to ask our team to drop in the chat how they can contact, right, the team to get more information on creating and preserving wealth. All right.
Yes, because we really want to smart up all Jamaica, because Jamaica is waiting for financially smart people.
Love it.
Our country is depending on us. And
Absolutely.
especially our younger people, don't fool around like we did. Nobody taught us directly early enough. And that's why many of us are having so much problems now. But for the young ones, we really want them to hit the ground running with information, with knowledge, so the pitfalls are avoided.
I'm seeing Shafara Virgo sharing another powerful book, which is The Compound Effect, which I have read and I love.
Awesome,
And the
awesome. We need to
compound effect,
understand it. We
yes,
need to
the compound
understand.
effect moves us from the mindset to the tiny actions.
Yes,
For example, a
yes,
challenge we can all start off with for the new year, for 1 month, just try it. If you can keep a track, write down in a notebook somewhere, document every cent that you spend, that can help you to fast track, right?
yes.
The awareness and literacy around how you spend money.
Spend,
Sometimes money
right.
missing, I want to know how the money gone. We think people rob it.
Money went, man. Yes, it went. If we are not managing it, it is managing us. And when
Absolutely.
it is managing us, we have no clue where it's going.
Yes.
Another book that we can also recommend is The Automatic Millionaire. You
Ah,
set it and forget it.
ah,
So salary deduction, decide on it, fix it, and forget it.
love it. Love it, love it, love it. Rose, let's talk a little bit about how this year has brought awareness of what we need to be doing, especially around things like monetizing perhaps a skill that we have that we probably never realized that we have before. That's important too. So talk us through how and
It
why.
it it is so important, because a lot of people, well, first of all, when you go to your budget, sometimes you discover that the budget will not balance.
Mhm.
It wants some more money. And so people have been, utilizing, monetizing their skills because they want to make sure that the budget can balance. Or for some people, they are smart enough to know that one salary or so is going to take you a longer time. So they are into different streams of income. And one of the first ones that come to mind is utilizing whatever skill you have to earn. And so we have seen a lot of that happen during COVID. Some who think it was just a just something that they have, realize that, hold on a little bit now, I have to turn to this thing as a bona fide way of surviving during this period. And there were others who recognized that something was required. They found a gap and they filled it, sometimes with a skill, sometimes with new knowledge. But we always have to be looking and seeing how many skills we can acquire that we can actually use. I have a saying, Kamala and team, have skill, can't dead for hungry.
Say it again, what skill?
Have skill, can't dead for hungry. We need to, if we have one, try find another one. If we have two, three is not enough. This is an age where the abundance of activities and skills and courses we can enjoy and knowledge is just everywhere. We have no reason to be ignorant. Absolutely none. And for the young people online, back that up with, you have no reason to be poor.
Wow, Rose,
you have no, man. Another saying I have, the future will be bright if the young people get it right. And that is so loaded, because guess what happened, Kamala? A lot of us have missed the boat almost already.
True.
A lot of us have missed the boat already, right? Probably we can work with a canoe or so on, but trust me, a lot of us. So you see, if they, if the young people in our space get it right, even if you take it home to the family level, right? There are many persons who have spent all they have on their children, sending them to university. They now have no more retirement money. So what is going to happen now if those young people don't get this message right? Don't understand how to create wealth. Yes, they will not have it for themselves to begin with, and neither will they have it to extend a hand.
That's powerful.
Yes. So
and I feel like when you think about it in those terms, Rose, you realize a lot is riding on our on our money mindset. It's not just for us right now.
No.
And end up broke, right?
No.
But it's also about what will happen to those that we care about.
That is correct.
And those that we want to invest in and build up. I love it.
That is correct.
Excellent.
That is correct.
Rose, you know, we had a session with Dottie Berry and Ryan.
Heard him, man.
Yes, and I saw you in the comments talking up a bag of things, Miss Rose. And they were talking about how they wanted to purchase cars this year in the pandemic, and wisdom. They realized that they had to take it out of them numbers on paper to figure out and can I. Rose, for many of us who want to put a brand new Audi, the Audi Q7 on our vision board, right? Or the RAV4 or another one, right? What are your tips? Because I know many of us want the sexy car, but we don't remember we have to go pay the upkeep and the gas, right?
Yes.
And the tire.
I tell you something, you know, Kamala. Some of these cars that some of us are buying, more gas going to be in us than what in the car. Because after we don't pay for the car, we don't have no money for buying no food, so we're going to be full of gas.
I'm going to call you Shady Rose, because that is so much shaded. Some of us a while ago.
So we really need to understand what's going on right here. So I'm not saying we cannot buy an Audi, okay? I'm not saying we cannot buy a RAV.
Yes.
But for heaven's sake, we don't have to start there, so. We just need something that will get us from point A to point B. Worse if it's not a car that is going to earn money for you. And you don't need an Audi for earn money for you, right? So yeah, we can start a little lower. That is not because we don't have ambition, but because we are setting up ourselves for financial freedom.
Yes.
Not just to have a nice car.
Rose, I want to open up the microphone.
Yes.
Any one of our audience members, I see a couple of hands raised, and I'd love to get them to come on and engage with your immense wisdom this evening, right? It might be a little bit uncomfortable, but we need the truth in our lives.
We need the truth.
So I see 4 hands raised, and I'm going to ask our tech team, if any of you put up your hand and it's a mistake, please take it down now, right? I'm going to ask our tech team to, let me see whose hand is up. So let's start with Winsome McNish Ricketts. I see your hand raised, lovely Winsome. Are you open to coming on micro and asking your question of Rose? Please go ahead. Please unmute yourself, Winsome. You're already on stage, so please go ahead and share what you want to share with Rose. You can press the unmute button to turn your microphone on, and we will allow you to share. Having some challenges, Winsome? Okay, so we're going to pull up Adrian Nugent instead. Adrian, are you able to unmute and ask your question of Rose? Please go ahead. Nobody's able. I wonder if it's a settings issue, tech team. Is it that we have to, have we allowed them to unmute? Because we have two lovely persons on, but no one able to unmute, it seems. Ask to unmute. Okay, so let us try Letna. Letna, go ahead. You are on stage. Take your mic.
Yeah, yes, how you do? How you do? I'm in Toronto. How you doing?
Awesome.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank
Awesome.
you. No, as they were talking about buying the car and you're going to have more gas in your stomach than what in the car. Would I like to tell people, as Miss Luda said, no, hang your basket higher than you can reach it.
God.
Quite so.
Because when you hang your basket higher and you can't reach it, you'll find that you go tipping to catch it and it keep getting out of reach. So you have to learn to creep before you start to walk.
There you go.
And I must say, I love this because I've been participating in the chat. And like I said in the chat, if I was given the option as a young girl, when I was younger back in Jamaica, and talk about investment and thing, I would have made wiser investment, but I now giving my daughter that option.
There you go.
Because I remember when I was in a primary school, I opened a JN $2 account. You don't remember them times, eh?
Yes,
JN used to go around to the schools and encourage the students to open $2 account. And that's where I started investing from. I was about 10. And that's where I started saving. And it has given me the goal, the push, the drive to keep on saving and to invest. And when people are investing, you need to look at reputable institutions. Jamaica National has set the pace. And I'm so happy that I am a Jamaica National member.
Yes.
Yes.
Coming here, I'm continuing with my Jamaica National accounts. And I'm doing things at Jamaica National, and I love Jamaica National. So congratulations on your program. And thank you for having this to educate. Education is the key.
The key, agreed.
One businessman said in Jamaica, him take teaspoon and collect his riches, and him son dole it out with take shovel and dole it out. So we have to educate the ones that we're leaving our wealth and riches to, and tell them that, you know, it is not easy. I said to my daughter, you take a month to earn X amount of dollars, and if you're not careful, you will lose that in a day. So you have to be careful and know exactly what you're doing with your investment, with your money when you get it. And I encourage her to save 30% of what she earns.
Good.
And pinch it, 30% have to save, and pinch it of the rest. After she pay her mortgage, she pinch it of the rest until the next month comes.
Mr. Letna, we could not have missed your contribution. You dropped some powerful bombs. And thank you for being a JN diehard member.
Thank you.
You're a longtime member. Thank you for being faithful, and thank you for bigging up your blue and yellow brand. We also
thank you
very much. Right?
You're welcome. Good. Thanks.
Here. Until next time.
Next time.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Good.
I'm also seeing Del Jackson's hand raised. Del, are you able to come on micro?
Yes. Thank you. I just wanted, it's not a question per se, it's just more like a comment to say to the youngsters on the panel, if there's any youngsters that owning a car is not the most important thing out there, because when you finance or lease a car from a bank, the car does not belong to you. So it's better to have somewhere to park that car before you get that car. Because if a car, once you drive it off the lot, it depreciates. So invest that money in a piece of land or a house and go from there. And if you're living at home, it's best to pretend you're renting from your parents, put that money aside, because living out there on your own, it's really expensive. It is not cheap. So if you go out there and you're looking at a 1-bedroom, or I live in Toronto, so you're looking at a 1-bedroom house or a 1-bedroom apartment, you're paying nothing less than $1,500, right? And that's your paycheck right there. Okay. In this pandemic right now, if you have a car, what can that car really do for you? Can't do anything. But if you put that money in a house, you can take out something against that house to make things turn over for yourself until you get back out there. Right? So I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say that.
I love it. Especially that
rent from your parents. Rent from your parents. Because every one of us, we want to be out there. We don't want to listen to our parents' rules or follow the rules. But just remember that they were once young, so they do know what they're talking about.
I love it.
So just put that money aside. You're gonna, you think by bringing in $3,000 a month, that's money. That is not money when you're paying a car note and you're paying a rent or you're buying food and you still want to live a life. So you want to go out there and entertain a little bit. So you really have nothing after that month. You're living paycheck to paycheck. So there's nothing to bounce back on. That money that you're gonna use to pay that rent for 6 months, pretend you're renting from your parents and put it aside. Do not touch it. Because when you go out there and you can't afford that rent and they evict you and you're living in your car and you can't pay that car note and you're going into the shelter and they're taking advantage of you in there. And it's even worse if you have a child. Suffer under your parents' rules before you go out there.
Del,
that's when I'll say that.
Where are you joining us from? Are you here in Jamaica?
No, I'm in Toronto.
Thank you so much for joining us there. Listen, I just want to thank you for that tip. That is wealth right there, right? And thank you for giving us the perspective of, what rent looks like in your neck of the woods. 1,500 Canadian dollars is about 150,000 Jamaican dollars. Let's be clear on that,
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's really, really great advice. Thank you, Del. And thank you for being a loyal class attendee. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you.
Rose?
And Kamala, I know time is running, but I just need to talk about one other thing.
Yes.
The whole matter of our, really making sure that our pension is happening. Now, I just remind folks, all right, that if we're not putting money aside for our pension, we don't have a formal pension plan, then what we're actually saying is it's okay to work all our lives and to pay everybody else, but we don't need to take care of our future. All right. And so many of us are probably on contract. Many of us are self-employed, and this is not on our radar at all. Give yourself this gift for the coming year. Sign up for a superannuation plan. All right. And we can contribute as much as 20% of what we earn towards that plan, but you don't have to start there. You can start with 5 and promise yourself that you're going to incrementally move it up to 20%. And for those of us who have access to a plan via our employers, it is still 20% we're able to give to contribute to it. And we should as well gradually move it up to the full 20%. We're really going to love how those statements look when we see them every year and year. And it's going to be setting us up to be able to live in our golden years.
Absolutely.
And it might not be golden years either, because retirement is not an age. Retirement is when you're financially off and decide that you don't want to work no more.
Ideally.
Either that or because you're too ill to work and you have to stop working. And that can happen at any age. So people, retirement is really not an age. So we need to just get that straight. All right. And even, time gone. All right. So let me just wrap on this. So ideally, we encourage people to also create for themselves what I call a pension portfolio, because you still need different streams of income during retirement, because retirement is expensive business and people are living longer now. So you're going to be in retirement for a longer period. You don't want the money to run out. So create a pension portfolio. So you have your pension plan in there, your superannuation plan. You can also have stocks and bonds or mutual funds in that portfolio. You can also have an insurance policy in there, the one that creates wealth.
Yes.
And you can also have real estate If you can afford a little piece of land, if you can have a house on it, that's even better. And you'll be able to collect passive income every month. And at the bottom of that, then you have your NIS, which is your ice cream money.
Your ice cream. Listen,
Yes.
Rose, the plan is powerful and the plan is doable. Importantly, it's doable.
Yes.
And I just want to caution all of us, especially when we set up our vision boards. You see, Rose, we tend to have this mindset that we're going to accomplish all of these things in 12 calendar years.
No, sir.
12 calendar months and not go so. So we have to be mindful that this requires the unsexy work of sacrificing,
yes,
denial,
yes,
right? And delayed gratification.
Definitely.
And discipline. What are these?
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I see a comment.
And knowledge,
which you have done so excellently at dropping on us tonight.
Thank you.
See Tamara right with a comment that I want to just highlight. She says, we mainly tell our children to study hard and do well in school so that they can get a good job, to become lawyer, doctor, police, etc. But hardly ever teach them how to create wealth for themselves and their future generations, how to become their own boss and so forth. And I want to just, on that point, just commend again the JN Group for facilitating, for creating, for investing in this life class, because we need class on how to do life. We need the knowledge.
Yes.
Financially and otherwise. And this is the vision, and I love it so much.
Yes.
I think, Rose, we're going to do a giveaway at this time.
Awesome.
And I'm going to have you stay on for a couple more minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
And have you be the judge. Right?
All right.
Let me see now. What we're going to do, we're going to ask persons, the first person who can drop in the chat the 4 tips, the 4 tools for financial empowerment and financial well-being. The first person to drop all of them in one post, one comment.
I said, Georgette, have it already. Georgette put it up already.
Awesome. Congratulations, Georgette. I'm going to ask you to reach out. You're going to see an email address. Reach out to the team. You have won yourself something amazing for the new year. And because this is JN Life class, we have one more giveaway, 2 more coming up. But we're going to do them in a little while. All right?
Okay.
So, I see they're still they're still trying to vie for winning the prizes. I love this audience so much. Rose, you have been exquisite in your delivery, and we can feel the passion and the wealth of knowledge. Thank you immensely. Are you going to come back on towards the end?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'll be here.
Wisdom from you. All right.
I'll be here. I feel
like we're going to see your face on a T-shirt somewhere. About the gas, right? That's a tweet of the moment. Thank you so much. Sure. In a short while towards our last segment, right? To show love, show some love to Rose, everyone. She has been absolutely powerful, as we knew she would be. I now would like to make space on stage because we want to get everything in, all the powerful wealth and the tips. I would love to welcome on stage the effervescent and powerful Dania Beckford, who is brand maven extraordinaire, communication specialist, and an advocate for living fully in the skin in which you were born and for exuding the confidence that you can have as a woman, as a person. So welcome, Dania. Thank you so much for joining us. How you do? How did Christmas treat you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I am well and very grateful. Very, very, very grateful. I'm so happy to see a beautiful face in the space. I want us to talk about the up here part now, right? Because we're setting up our intentions around, a powerful and winning 2021. But I feel like it's important for us to have the self-concept piece of it down pat, right? Yes. And I came across this quote today. Social media is very present with all the philosophies and the wisdom. And Jackie Hill Perry, she's a gospel rapper. She says, even if next year is just like this year, I won't be. Even if 2020 doesn't change, I will. And I couldn't love it anymore. So then talk us through a little bit of where your headspace is at and how you're coaching others in terms of stepping into a new year, regardless of what happens.
Okay, so thank you again, Kamala, and I want to thank everyone who is on our call tonight for our live class. Thank you for staying and listening to what I'm about to say. So I'm completely agreeing with that quote that you found. Let
Mhm.
us not think that because of the type of unprecedented year that 2020 was, that it is any type of referendum on the goals that we should have going forward in 2021. No,
Mhm.
I will even go over the edge and say maybe we did need a 2020. Maybe we had to change what was normal because normal was not working in a lot of cases. Maybe
Mhm.
we had to have 2020 because our business processes needed to be changed. Maybe some of us needed to be working from home to connect with our families. Maybe we needed
Yes.
to have the light bill go down a little bit lower in the office. So some people need to take flexi time. Maybe we needed some industries to open up. Everybody's calling a delivery person right now. We have reimagined what entertainment looks like. We've reimagined what dining looks like. So
Mhm.
maybe we did need 2020. No, we didn't need people dying. We never needed that at all. But sometimes it takes a drastic thing to change our mindset.
One
So
second for me, lovely Dania. I'm seeing and hearing that your volume is low, lower than when we were, yeah. I don't know if it's maybe your speaker or
I don't know.
I don't
Are you
think it's
hearing me,
distance
everybody?
too.
Is everybody hearing me?
That's a little better. Thank you.
Yes?
Yes. Mhm.
All right. Right. So maybe we actually did need a 2020. So we need to now realize that some of us needed to build resilience that we didn't know that we have.
Mhm.
There's also another quote that I saw on social media a couple of years ago that really resonated with me that said that you never know how strong you are until strong is all you have to be. And I feel like 2020 was one of them years because all of us on the call, we are still right here. And we really should
Okay.
not waste the resilience that we have built in
Mhm.
2020. So,
Mhm.
as much as we cuss it, I feel like it has changed our mindset when it comes to certain things, and we should embrace that.
Lessons, yes.
Right. Now, one of the things that I'm big on, as you know, is confidence. And
Mhm.
whereas sometimes it manifests in my brand, which is Broadtail, which is
Mhm.
confidence in full figured women, it should also manifest in everything that you do. And a lot of times I find that one of the reasons why we don't succeed is not because we don't have the resilience, the endurance, the perseverance, all the talent and skill in the world, but because we're not confident in ourselves and in our mindset to actually have our goals come to life. And that's what
Absolutely.
manifesting is about. So,
Mhm.
manifesting starts with an idea, and we all need to realize that our ideas have energy. They are things that we build, and we need to now make implementable actions from them for it to actually happen in your life. So, it's
Yes.
really all up in your mind. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? A lot of
Mhm.
people like to feel like, oh, a lot of us live in our brains. Yeah, we need to live there because that's where it starts. And that's how you ended up with an implementable action that you can actually manifest into a goal that
Mhm.
becomes a success. And
Mhm.
in doing so, I don't claim at all to have all the answers. I really, really don't. But I have a couple of tips that I've used in my own life and things that I've seen worked for my network.
So
So
Danielle, before you go into the tips, I just want to kind of frame up some of what you have dropped on us so far. One of the things too,
let's frame
some
with mine.
listen, I have the bottle, but I don't have the glass. Okay, so one of the things that I've heard a lot of people talking about is the fact that they are moving away from setting resolutions, and for many people, resolutions tend to just be it's almost like a wish.
Yeah.
I want to lose weight in the new year. I want to to save more in the new year. And many people are moving towards intention setting,
Right.
which has some as you said, some implementable piece of it, right? I will be more in tune with my body. I
Mhm.
will be, and we can break that down into actual steps
Yeah,
to move towards our goals.
you are
And
absolutely
importantly
correct.
too, many people are having anxiety around, having the biggest, most bombastic visions for their 2021. And we want to normalize that it's okay if you don't want to feel the pressure of having or want to own a house. Take it as you can get it. But what Dania is saying, and I agree with Dania, it's also important to have some guiding principles, some guiding philosophies around what you want to end up looking like in your new year and beyond. Yeah.
And
So take us through your tips.
you know what, Kamala, I'm so happy that you brought up intention because I was definitely getting to it. Resolutions is I want, I want, I want. Intention is something with purpose.
Yes.
So I want to lose weight. Okay, How are you going to do that? I will be healthier. I will be in tune to the wellness of my entire being.
Yes.
And when you do it like that, you end up lose weight without having this thing over your head. So, oh God, me not lose weight, me not do the things them. No, 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 no. So resolutions are definitely a thing of the past. People are not really doing that anymore. And half of the anxiety too is because we feel like our dreams may be too big. It's okay if they're too big too. Sometimes they need to be too big. Your
Yes.
dreams need to frighten you so you can get
Yes.
into action to make it happen. And if they're not too big, as you said, that's okay too. That is
Yes.
okay too. Another thing that I love to say is there's only one way to eat an elephant, you know. Don't be eating elephants out there. But there's only one way to eat an elephant, one bite at a time. So even if the dream is big, one step at a time, and before you know it, you'll be conquering that dream. So
Absolutely.
we can get into the steps, yeah?
Yes.
All right, so we talk about how traumatic 2020 was for some of us. And you know, for some of us, 2020 wasn't that traumatic because I
Yes.
found out things about myself in 2020 that I never knew I could have done. And I'm sure other people have found out things about themselves. But let's not get into the whole post-traumatic stress and have the anxiety of not trying to set your goals for 2021. Let's deal with post-traumatic growth. And what post-traumatic growth is learning from your experiences, from whatever it is you went through. And in this conversation, we're talking about 2020 to ensure that the things that you have learned, you put in place for 2021.
And beyond.
And beyond. I always try to use myself as an example. Is I've learned a lot of patience in 2020 because life was just going. Things were just happening. I was making swimsuits. I was doing big bands for Carnival.
Interviews with the Gleaner, writing articles.
I was writing articles. I was going on vacation with my friends. I was pregnant. I had a baby. One whole heap of things was happening. I needed 2020 to slow down, to remember why I started my business, to interact with smaller audiences to see where my business was lacking, to interact more with my family. I just had a baby. My baby is 18 months old, and I just went back to work after the 3 months like everybody regular, and I tried with the same girl. No, work from home and understand what that means and what a mommy means in this scenario. So post-traumatic growth, learn from what has happened from you, see the benefit in what is happening, and take it one step at a time to get to the results that you want to. Another thing in manifesting your goals is visualizing. And I know that our panelist coming up right after me, she's going to be doing the whole vision board thing. And so she will touch more on it. But something that I use, Kamala, because I'm from a media and communications background, whatever I'm working on, I try to see it in headlines. So I picture it in whatever headline I would want.
I love it.
And yeah, I do it like that because, you know, I'm my industry. So if it then at the headline, it's at the paper, other people are going to see it. I visualize my successes like that. And even if it never gets to the paper, I actually visualize it like that and make it happen like that. Take the steps to do it. So you have to visualize it. So whether that means putting pictures on a board of things that you want to do, whether that means seeing the picture of whether it is the house, the car, the family, the healthy body that you want to have, the hair growth that you need, whatever.
Whether it's bought or grown.
It does not matter. Seeing it all the time sends vibrations to your brain that gets used to that idea. And before you know it, you'll be taking steps to get to the idea without you even realizing that that's what you're doing. Because that's
where the power is.
Visualizing does. That's what the power is. And trust me when I tell you, say, when you see the positive things and you put the positive things them in your brain, trust me, say it happen. Another example, Mega Gear Kamala and everybody else online. I have a fear of falling. I like drop. I mean physically drop. I know spiritually, mentally right now, like physically drop. And because of that, me always a drop. Me drop this morning. This morning, me drop a come out of my shower. Why? Because I moved too fast. Me did anxious. Me feel like me never did finish prepare for this. Everything was happening today. I want to make sure I get everything. And me drop though. And I fell because I was going too fast. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I got anxious. I started to give myself negative talk in the bathroom about all the things we need to accomplish today and be ready for tonight to be talking to people, and me drop. And in that falling, me cry. Me not gonna tell her me never cry because it hot. I'm a full-figured woman when me drop in a normal. But in that moment, I slowed down and I said to myself, I have done this before. What do I know about myself? I know that I'm good at what I'm about to do. I know that I try to learn from people as much as they learn from me. I'm sharing what I know, and hopefully it will benefit somebody else. I'm in need for just stop. And I did. And the positive self-talk is what helped me so that I cannot drink wine and attack tuna tonight.
Right now, and attack powerful things too.
Thank you. And so the positive self-talk is what we need in the visualization, not the negative self-talk, because that will derail anything that you're doing. Another thing is...
Let me just jump in here, because that is so powerful. Because I saw someone post recently that if we were to speak to people the way that we speak to ourselves, then sometimes we could call it abuse. Like we could be accused rightfully of abusing other people, but we do this to ourselves on a constant, on a regular basis. And I want all of us on this call this evening to move out of life class, move into the new year, realizing that being kind to ourselves, no matter where you are on the journey to achieving the goals, is a tool. It is indispensable to the process of achieving. Because even with people outside of us, them say, encouragement sweeten labor, right? So if we encourage ourselves as we go along with the positive self-talk and celebrating the small wins, Dania, then we will go much further. So continue, miss. Drop the rest of them, probably now.
Right. So as I was saying, you have to visualize as if, and it comes into the conversation that you just brought up, that if it is that, like, as a communicator, we find that we may communicate well to everybody else, but when we communicate to ourselves, it's so negative. And let me give you another example. In my business, I cater to full-figured women with swimsuits and cover-ups. And sometimes they will DM me on Instagram at official broadtail, or they will call or send an email address. And when those women describe themselves to me, and I write down everything, because sometimes I say, can we have a physical consultation where I take your measurements, see the styles that you like, this, that, whatever. What they have described to me about themselves, I'm gonna write it down, write them name and everything, their full details. When I actually meet that person, when we were doing more physical consultations, when I read what I wrote based on what they said, and I look at the person, it's a completely different thing. I don't see what they said to me, all the negative things. Me have stretch mark, my belly big like this, my hand this, my back this, my leg this. When I look at the person, I'm like, what is she talking about? Like, if I were to create an image of what she said to me,
it would not be what she...
it would not be the same thing at all. So the negativity that we talk to ourselves about ourselves, it derails us from actually achieving our goals. And so now we need to live as if we already have the goal already done, implemented, and everything.
Come on,
if you
girl.
want to be wealthy, live like you're already wealthy without spending the wealthy money.
Thank you.
How you want to be treated. If you want to lose weight, if you want to look better, feel better, live like that. And before you know it, it becomes a habit. Your whole being vibrates it. Everybody around you accepts it and holds you accountable
as a fact. Yes.
And goal accomplished. Done. So we need to live as if. Also, what I realized, what 2020 has taught me, is that sometimes with the goals, we try to get very finite with the goals. And an example somebody said to me is, when you order food from a place, whether you go there physically or you order it for delivery, when you say you want fettuccine Alfredo, cheesy with mushrooms, do you actually...
For example.
Do you actually tell the chef how to cook it? Do you tell him how much salt to put, how much cheese to put, the amount of time the spaghetti should be in the pot? No, you don't. You order it and you trust that the process will end up into what you want. Now, with our plans, let's try to make it like that. Have big strategies, have our goals, a couple of objectives, but don't try to make it so finite that if every single detail that you had put in there does not happen, you end up thinking that you have failed in your goal. because we have to live in the present, like Corona taught us. Be flexible and adaptable so that you can still achieve the goal without all these finite things that you put in there. It have a red, it have a purple, maybe not. So if the car come in a white, you're not gonna take it. If I the same brand of car, come on now, you will. So let us try as much as possible to keep our strategies big, but also to keep the plans adaptable and flexible. I find that works very well.
Love it.
Another thing that you touched on when you interjected in the conversation is about congratulating ourselves. And I want to give you an example of my son. As I said to you, he's 18 months old, and we try to teach him good behavior, good actions from bad actions. And so from he was very small, even before he could clap, when he did something that we thought was a milestone or something good, we go, good boy, and we would clap. No, you not have to tell him to congratulate himself, you know. If him call one word on him tablet, or if he does something new or he sees us smile about something, he starts clapping himself. And him look around the room to see if you are clap too. And he continues to clap until you
join him.
Right? So, and I said, look at my son teaching me this, that no matter how small the thing is, congratulate yourself, give yourself a clap. And trust me, if you continue to clap yourself for as long as you want to, others start to clap for you as well.
And importantly too, Dania, him start clap before anybody thought it was an accomplishment. It was an accomplishment to him.
Yeah, man,
so
you don't need
ourselves back in the driver's seat is also important. Like, this is my goal, and it have to be yours.
It don't have to be yours. But when people see you happy about something you've accomplished, after a while, they'll join the party. And I think that we've grown up in a time where it's a self-praise is no recommendation. I mean, I understand that was a proverb about being haughty, but you have to praise yourself sometime, because if you don't start, nobody ever will. So congratulating oneself is also good in manifesting.
Absolutely.
Now I'm going to end before we take questions, and you can interject and interact with creating a power word for your goals for 2021 and beyond. And what I mean by that is, when you look at all the things that you want to do, whether it's one thing or 10 things, and please don't spread yourself too thin with the goals, because you want to not feel flustered, like you have too many things to do, like you're not accomplishing things. So try to make them as manageable as possible without spreading yourself thin. But when you look at all the things that you want to accomplish, what is one word that stands out for you that would encompass everything? And when you do that, that word, every time you hear it, it should give a positive vibration to you to accomplish one or all of the things that you have set out to do for 2021. So if you don't mind me sharing, my word for 2021, I mean, I know if you have a word yet, but my word, but you do?
Maybe I can share mine.
You want to. My word for 2021 is actually freedom. And the reason why I choose freedom is, as much as I am bold, as much as I am confident, there are things within my career that I have feel inhibited to do. Like most of us on the call, I also want financial freedom. I want freedom from fear, you know, to actually step out and see the power in my potential to grow and expand and to level up and to just be as abundant in all the things that I want to do and to be, you know. And so I want to let go of a lot of these resistances and feel a lot more free to make my choices. And so when I looked at all the things that I set out to do for 2021 and beyond, because your goal them can roll over. Like when you have vacation day where roll over, you know, use your mind, your goal them can roll over. So if you not accomplish everything in a 2021, like how you never if you never accomplish everything in a 2020, it can roll over. Life has not ended. Your goals don't need to end on the 31st of December.
And no anxiety needed, no judgment, no shame.
And if you're not done conceptualize what the goals are for 2021, tomorrow, it's okay as well. We have a whole year to plan, to manifest. It continues. As long as we have life, my mother say, you have hope.
That's correct.
You want to share what your word is?
So before I share what my word is, another one that you and I have talked about in recent times is gratitude. Because when you are grateful for what you have, you attract more.
Yes.
You understand?
And I think that still, go ahead, sorry.
No, man, I was saying that whenever you speak, you know, positively to what it is that you do have in your space, other things want to join the party, because it's just good energy being created all around.
Yes, and I think that it filters also into what Rose was saying earlier about the giving away of the money. I mean, it may sound very physical, oh, giving away of money, but sometimes when you think about how grateful we are for the things that we have, and some persons may not, you ought to give that, because when you give, you also get back. As a matter of fact, I see people doing this thing on social media now, and I've been doing it for a couple of years with my friends, where every week of every month when the new year starts, we have a jar, and at the end of every week, we write one thing that we were grateful for in that week. And at the end of the year, we read it to each other. And it is amazing when you look back to say, me not even remember, so that did happen in a January.
All the time, Dania, all the time.
All the time. Sometimes you can even do it monthly. When me have a bad month, me just go in at the jar and start look on the things, and me go in on my phone to some of the pictures them when me take when me did happy. And I get so grateful about times that I've had with people, things that I've accomplished, how I've assisted other people, how they've assisted me. And it helps with the positive vibration, the cleansing of your space to get you to manifest your own goals.
Here, Jennifer Allen with the with the fabulous quote. Jennifer says, a quote from Rumi: "Gratitude is the wine for the soul, Miss Dania. Go on and get drunk." I couldn't love it anymore. I'm gonna put that somewhere in my house because I love it.
That needs to be on a t-shirt or something.
Listen, all over on a billboard, right?
Yes.
We have so many awesome comments, Dania. Obviously, you shared from your heart, and people are connecting like on steroids. So people are loving your word for the year, freedom. I think many people are going to be taking that too.
No problem.
Sarah says she has a gratitude journal. Just so much love in the comment section. Letna says, Dania, you are a positive person. Once you are positive in all you do, you will have success. And just so many affirmations and confirmations for what it is that you have been saying. Because Dania is with us, we want to allow anyone from our viewing family who would love to come on micro and ask a question of Dania, right? So that you can share more wisdom in your direction. So please, by using the raise hand icon, let us know if you want to come on micro like Del and Letna did earlier, so that we can have, spread the knowledge and the more positive vibes around. While you're raising your hands, I just want to share my word for the year. My word is soar. SOAR, soar. I feel like there have been some really good movements in my 2020 so far, for which I'm very grateful. And I feel like I'm being mindful not to put a cap on what can happen. Not because you reach here, so means so you have to stop there. So there is more. And I want to have more, do more, and be more. So my word is soar. I want to take off to 2021 and beyond, right?
Girl, take off.
Take
Share
off.
me video.
I see Laverne. Laverne has raised their hand. Laverne, please do take your spot on the audience, on the platform rather, so we can hear your wonderful voice. Go ahead. You were unmuted just now, Laverne. Can you unmute again, please? Claudine, I love your word. It's blooming. You know I'm all about the blooming, right? I love that.
Yes,
go ahead, Laverne.
All about the blooming.
Welcome, Laverne. Go ahead, please.
Hi. Thank you for such a wonderful program. I'm listening in from the States. I just happened to see the email yesterday, so I'm happy that I was able to sign on.
I'm glad too.
And a couple of things that I wanted to say. They said positivity begets positivity. And so I like to speak positive words. It puts you in a different frame of mind.
Agreed.
When you speak positive to people, even when they're looking at the other side, I always come back up with, but there's the other side. And it's like the glass half empty versus the glass half full. And so I think that when you think positive, it just makes you want to do more and encourage more people to see the good, because every situation has something good.
Very true. It's closely enough we can find it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Laverne, do you have a word for the year? Have you come up with your word yet?
I think my word is more, meaning just as you said, you don't want to cap yourself. There's always more to learn, more to see, more to do. And so if you continue to have those goals, you will never run out of goals because there's always more.
Yes.
So that's my word.
Thank you so much, Laverne. I see another hand raised, Jennifer Edwards. And while Jennifer is coming on, Miss Broadtail,
Yes.
so somebody I talk about your argument, somebody says, was it Trevisa? Hi, Trevisa, that's my sister in Dania. You said your background is in media and communication, but you seem to be doing something else now. So hint, hint, nudge, nudge, Miss Dania, I think you've stepped over. And and she says, so many comments, I'm trying to pull it up. Can you find it, Dania? She asked you two questions.
She's saying what you want to be doing, what made you realize this.
At what point did you realize that what you are doing now is what you wanted to do? But hold on, let's take Jennifer because she's right on stage with us, and then we'll answer Teresa's question. Go ahead, Jennifer, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having this session. It's been really informative and energizing. Can you hear me?
Yes. Loud and clear, and thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. So I want to add that journaling, in addition to the gratitude, just journal anything, whatever you experienced throughout the year, because you're going to find patterns in it. You're going to find patterns of where you were last year. It has really changed my life.
Wonderful.
So just journal anything, the gratitude, the good and the bad and the indifferent.
I love it, Jennifer. Thank you so much for that. We could not have missed that because it's really powerful and it can be very transformative.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Continue to enjoy the rest of the series and the rest of tonight's class.
Thank you.
Over to the question, Ms. Broadtail from Trevisa.
Right. So I still think that I'm a communicator. I'm just not in journalism as it is. And to be very honest, I spent a little bit of time on radio, but I didn't love it as much because you can't quite see who you're connecting to every day. So my love for fashion ended up being with starting Broadtail because I had a bigger concern about how women felt about their bodies, whether you're full figured or otherwise. And so that led me into being a confidence advocate, which is not really technically a career, but communicating to women how they should think about themselves. So I still think that I'm communicating.
I love it. And to kind of wrap up our segment, Dania, which has been amazing, Valerie has shared a quote, which I quite like. I don't know if it's her original quote. Valerie says, it's not about the glass being half empty or full, but the glass is fillable. I'm going to like it. I like it a lot.
You feel like we're creating one old t-shirt line today.
Listen, we're going to be rich, girl. Where the money reside.
That's where we're going, where the money resides.
That's where we're going, where the money resides. Drink to that, Daniel. Drink for me and you. So if there are no more questions, so many people are loving it. Claudine said the swimsuits are fabulous. I have one. Go, Claudine. And just so much love for you, Dania, as we knew would happen because you are your personality is infectious and your positivity is just infectious and intoxicating.
Thank you so much.
So thank you. While you're with me, say again.
I was saying thank you to everybody for the kind comments. I really appreciate it.
Yes, you have done exceptionally well.
Yeah, we definitely.
I want to hear more from you. Yeah, man, we want to hear your voice on some other topic because obviously you got some thanks to say, right? We have a giveaway because this is the hashtag JNCares Life Class Series. So we have a giveaway and they're sharing your handle for those of you who are on Instagram. You can connect with Miss Dania for more of her content. Yes. And people are asking the name of the swimsuit line. You can go ahead and tell them, Dania.
It's Broadtail Designs, and you can find us on IG at official Broadtail.
At official Broadtail. Yay! So for those of you who have a Digicel device, you will now have the chance to win for yourselves 1,000 Jamaican dollars call credits. So please listen for these numbers, and the first person to input them correctly will win. And the voucher numbers are 57763 8821 8671. And if you win, make some noise in the comment section and big up JN, right? Because they are so kind and they are doing this. They've been doing this since season 1 and we just love them. Love them, love them, love them. Dania, thank you so much for your beautiful energy and for your wisdom and sharing so vulnerably with us this evening as well. And we're going to have you back on in a few for your final 30-second, nuggets of wisdom. Yes. But we're going to make space now for the warm and beautiful Rasheen Robinson, She's going to be our visioning coach for this evening's conversation, more specifically to get us into how to put the things them together to move us from where we are into where we want to be for 2021. Thank you for joining us, Rasheen.
Thank you so much for having me, Kamala and Team JN. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure, Rasheen. And Tamara has won the credit. Congratulations, Tamara. And we have one more credit for those who have Flow devices coming up soon. But over to you, Rasheen. Please talk us through, first of all, are you an avid vision boarder? We want to know, do you set up vision boards for yourself?
I do. It is, I wouldn't even say an obsession of mine as much as it is just a necessary part of my life right now. And I feel I've seen it manifest positively in my life, in the life of my friends, in the life of family members. And it is just something that at this point, I swear by. And it's a question of, you know, how do you not have a vision board? You know,
I love that.
That's where it's at for me.
And that's why you're in the space.
Yeah.
So Rasheen, talk us through how vision boards work, because I think many people think it's airy-fairy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not black magic. It's not, you know, hocus pocus. You know, it's not, I mean, if you think about, it's simple. It's really simple. And if you think about writing things down, when I talk to students a lot about visioning and about vision boarding, I like to talk about the glorified grocery list. Most times now, I don't know who in here, we have our smartphones and everything, but I like to write down what I want to get at the grocery store because, and we'll get into that a little bit, but if you think about a grocery list, when you go to the supermarket, you have a particular sum of money that you want to spend. Let us tap into what Auntie Rose said at the beginning. Yes. You need to have a budget. This is what you're going to spend. You write down the things that you need to get at the grocery store. So you need eggs, you need milk, you need cheese, you need some vegetables. We're not gonna get the tomatoes because if you go to the grocery store, you know the price of tomatoes right now. So we're not gonna do the tomatoes, but we're going to probably pick up some tomato sauce, right? That manageable. The science tells us, Kamala, that the thing down increases the likelihood already of it happening. Just by writing it down, just by putting it down in a physical way, it increases the likelihood of that thing even happening without you even doing anything else, without you even acting on it. So when I create that grocery list and I step into the grocery store, the likelihood of me forgetting something on the list is minimal. Yeah? So if you think about a vision board in that way, it is really and truly a calling together of these things that we want to manifest in our lives, these things that we are passionate about, these desires, dreams, goals that we ourselves, that we have created a physical representation of, so that we can engage it in a way that keeps us on track to achievement. That's it. There's no complexity, there is no overthinking. It is a simple physical reminder or manifestation of these things that we want to achieve.
Yes.
And that alone for me is, the simplicity of it is beautiful.
It's powerful.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
I
can share at least one, like me sitting in this live class space came off of a vision board. So I am right there beside you, Rasheen. You are preaching to the converted right now, because
I agree. Like this, the manifestation of like me love talk, right? And who could have thought I would have the opportunity to sit and just talk to people about things that I'm passionate about, with the hope of imparting knowledge, sharing, space and truths and that sort of thing. Straight off of my vision.
Yeah. And I see Joe Flowers in the comments. Joe Flowers says that's the best description of a vision board ever. And Joe earlier said Joe earlier said that she this is worth staying up until 1 a.m. in the UK to watch this, and she's so happy that she found us. So we're exceptionally happy that Joe is not only up, but she's fully engaged.
Oh my
And loving the
gosh.
content that you are helping to create, Rasheen. So vision board
Oh,
right now, right?
gosh.
Absolutely.
Kamala, I love to tell the story before you move on to the next point of engagement. One of my favorite stories to tell, because I have many vision board stories and many just testimonials from students to adults to, you know what I mean. But Steve Harvey, he was giving a speech at a television, I think it was award ceremony, and he spoke about his childhood. He grew up in the projects, very, very poor, and so on, going to school where, you know, the situation was that the teacher saw him as a troublemaker. You know what I mean? I mean, this is a situation where he wore his brother's clothes. The clothes are, you know, handed down. They're ill-fitted. I mean, he can't focus in class and so on. So the teacher gives them an assignment to write down on paper what it is that they want to be, come back to class and talk about it in front of the class. And so all the students do this. They come up and everybody wants to do, you know, low-hanging fruit, accessible jobs for the climate and for where it is that they live. Let's just leave it at that. And so he goes home though, and he writes, I want to be on TV. That's what he writes down. I want to be on TV. And so, you know, everybody goes up and they talk about what they want to do. They get their gold star, and he's feeling pretty confident by this time because this is one assignment. He's like, all right, seriously, I have to get one A in this because come on now. Yes. He goes up and he says that which he has written down on his paper. Very proudly, ready for him gold star and hold out him hand, yeah. And the teacher says like, do you know anybody on TV? Why are you causing trouble? You're always creating trouble in my class. Go sit down. I'm going to, you know, back in them days, them write the note, them tack it onto the shirt and send them home to the parent so the parent can read what has happened and then deal with them accordingly. And so he went home and the mother said, come on with another piece of note on your shirt. Like, boy, like seriously, wait till your father come. So he's waiting and he's nervous because his mother is a disciplinarian, his father is really the executioner. So he's waiting for the father to come and he is nervous. The father dark, grade 3 education. That's the height of the father's education. And he is terrified for when the father comes home and sees that he has this note and so on. And the father comes home and says, boy, what is it that has happened? And he says, the teacher gave an assignment to write down what we want to be. I wrote down that I want to be on TV, and so the father looks at the paper, grade 3 education, looks at the paper and says, is this what you want to be? Steve says, yes, daddy. So the father says, take this and stick it above your bed, and then take this other paper and write down whatever the teacher wants you to write down and hand it to her tomorrow. And Steve said, that single act of it being the first thing that he saw when he woke up above the bed this way, and the last thing he saw at night, girl, you can't turn on your TV without seeing Steve Harvey.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, every channel. You can't turn on the TV without seeing him at all. So you know what I'm doing on Christmas, right? And buy one big screen TV and send it go give the teacher.
The shade.
Yeah, and so I mean, and it's a powerful story because it's just a reminder about how powerful it is to manifest the things that we want for our lives. If nothing else, 2020 ought to have taught us that we need to have a plan, because even if there is derailing, there is a steadiness, there is a plan, there is a, you understand?
There's an anchor, there's an anchoring vision.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I love that story of Steve Harvey, and he tells it all the time because I mean, look at him now, you know? And so all of us might not need to go on TV, but the power of that thing that we can engage with every day visually to remind us of what our path is and the things that we need to do.
Yes, to get
is
there.
important stuff.
Absolutely. I love that story, Rasheen. And especially it's so vivid, especially because of the fact that Steve has perhaps exceeded, you know,
oh my God,
maybe his young mind's framing of what he could be. He has gone leaps and bounds above that. And that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I know that there's some persons who are on here who have never done a vision board before, Rasheen. What would you say are maybe the top 3 mindset considerations? Like Dania and Rose did an amazing job of hashing out a couple of them. What would you want to add or, you know, expand on anything that they said as it relates to what's important up here? So
no, what is important for me is openness and honesty. Because you see, before you open any magazine or any book or print any image from offline, there has to be this honest investigation of your life. You have to do the sitting down and asking of the hard questions or easy questions, whatever. And in answering those, you can start a process now of deciding what you're gonna envision. So questions like, what am I passionate about, really? Right? 2, when we talk about the people who are around us, our circle, our network, are there persons that need to be severed from our lives so that we can do the work that we are put here to do?
So Rasheen, you mean to tell me that to do a vision board, you have to go in on one deep personal audit, man?
You have to go in on a life audit. You have to do a self-audit, because what is the purpose if there is not honesty and truth upon it? This is why, you know, when people don't want to really show you their vision board, it's not something for you to be offended by. Because vision boards can be a personal, soulful kind of experience.
Agreed.
That you have to have respect for a person and what they put down on paper or canvas or whatever. So before, it's so funny, I remember one of the last vision boarding sessions that I did, this is before COVID and everything, with ABC Hall, one of the halls of residence on campus. And I was purposefully late because I wanted to go in and see what was happening in the room, kind of like mood testing. And so I walked in and all the students were on the floor, music was playing, they were on the chairs at their table, and everybody are cut with their life, everybody cutting. And I said, what am I cut? How do I know if you're cut out? What are you cutting? So I came in and I just, you know, perused, and I tapped a young lady and I said, tell me what are you looking for in this magazine? What are you looking for? And she said, I don't know, miss, anything that just look nice. No.
That's not it.
That's not it. It ain't it. That's what I said, it ain't it.
How not to do a vision board.
How not to do a vision board. That ain't it. No. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm to add anything to what Auntie Rosie and what Dania said earlier, there has to be this raw, open, and honest approach to investigating one's life, so that you can decide, you know what are my goals and dreams? I will be honest right now. I was hell-bent on purchasing my Mini Cooper this year because like that's just that's your vibe. That's my car. And I was like, yes, man, I'm getting furniture. And I said, girl, hold up. How about you clear some debt first? Huh? Listen. And I get real honest about it, because of course I can probably shift 2 things around and make it work and purchase the car. Yeah. You know what I mean? And maybe kind of make it work. And you know, Robbie is so supportive that way, and we'll shift it around and make it work and whatever. But like, is that honestly what ought to happen right now? So it can go on the vision board, you know. But then there are some steps that need to be taken to get to that. And some of these steps are like debt reduction, denying yourself some of these Rose talk about these wants and stuff like that. So that kind of honest investigation and open approach and just really, you know, being raw with yourself is one of the mindsets that, listen, is a must have.
That's critical to the process.
That's critical to the process.
And you know what I hear you saying also, Rasheen, and it's not, you didn't say the words, but it's the same energy that I'm getting from it, is that it's also important for us to have a why. What is our guiding why, or WHY? Why do we want the things that we want? And so one of the gifts that I want to give to the JN audience, family, and to, you know, our community here is I wrote an ebook that's called The Magic Making Manual. And we're going to be dropping the link in the chat for all of you who are on here to be able to access that and download that ebook. It's a workbook so that you can fill in, write down what it is. And a couple of the things I was intentional about putting into the ebook, Rasheen, is number one, what is your purpose?
Yeah.
Because when it is
a hard thing to uncover, to discover. And the easiest thing that the thing that I will say to persons is that sometimes that is a constant. It's this constant
evolving journey. Yes.
Yeah.
But when I heard you mention about, you know, what am I passionate about? What is that one thing that you do that if you didn't have to work for money, you would spend your whole life doing that? These are some of the purpose clues that we can use to guide us. And let's be clear, purpose is not static, as you rightfully said.
No, it is not static.
It's a one and done thing. We tend to discover other elements, but if we have a guiding why, for example, I'm very clear, I'm a helper. I'm in the helping profession, and it looks different from decade to decade or from 5 year to 5 year, but I know I want to help people step into their best lives.
Yeah.
And therefore, the things that are aligned with that are what I do more of.
Yeah.
Understand? And say no to what's not aligned with that.
Yes.
So that's a piece of it.
Which brings me back to my glorified grocery list.
Yes, ma'am.
When you step into, listen, you ever sometimes stepping into a certain supermarkets on a Saturday, it's busy. Digicel booth over here, so giving them, and let's kind of talk pre-COVID. The Digicel booth, they right here, so the JN booth, they over there, so, and the rum cream tasting room, there, so, and there are just so like things just kind of pulling your attention everywhere.
And they all look good.
They're all good. You know, the point is that you need to buy, you need to come and be a part of whatever. And what that grocery list kind of helps you to do, you might go sample and thinking about, really, it minimizes the distractions because this is what you came here for. This is what you came here for. So that's one. And two, it really creates a kind of accountability for the spending of the money. If we're talking visioning, there's an accountability for the spending of the energy. So on a day-to-day basis, you eliminate things that do have nothing to do with your goals and your dreams. If you go through your planner, right? Yes.
Please say that last piece again. Start a nice argument there again. You said that. Talk about the expenditure of vision, of energy for the vision.
Because me love the grocery list analogy, you know, it's my favorite, right? Because just like how it creates an accountability for the spending, because this is what you've come in here for. It's the same way that that vision board helps to create accountability for how you're spending energy and how you're spending time.
I would never have thunk.
Yes, man, when you break it down now, you know, and you do your setup Sunday, Nicole like to talk about setup on Sunday where you go try, you plan your week and all of that. Each day, there has to be an activity, 1 to 3, keep it small. Eating the elephant, one mouthful at a time. If there is anything that does not contribute to the achieving of these goals on the thing, it don't need to be in your planner. It does not need to be done. It's not a priority. You understand?
Yes. I would never have framed it that way. And that's why when you bring in all these beautiful, diverse, and powerful voices, we have a wonderful life class. I would never have thought of a vision board as an accountability tool also. You know what I mean? But it does help to ground us.
It does.
What we do and what we not do. What are we not taking into 2021? And what don't we need? Like, it might look good, but do I need it for my purpose?
Yes.
You understand what I mean? So that's so beautiful, Rasheen. Thank you for that. Now, for the persons who want to start the practice this year, tell us how we start the vision board. What do we do?
So apart from, after you've sat down and you've really kind of started your thinking, and I will say, no, I'm not knocking vision board parties, but there is a process that needs to happen before. Some people vision board take days. Some people's vision board takes weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, my vision board tends to be finished towards the end of February. Usually that's what is happening, because it's such a process for me. But then when you do start to put together, what are some of the ways in which you can put the things together? No, you can do it thematically. So Dania spoke about a power word. I call it, for the vision board, it can be a focus word. There might be a word that you put at the center, and then you use that. Now you pull images or quotes or you align to the, around that word. So there is that way of doing it. You can also compartmentalize areas of your life that need attention and then create goals within those areas. So some of us have a spiritual component of our lives and who we are, and so a goal may be to be closer to God. What are some of these steps? You're not going to have the steps on the vision board. You're going to break that down in your little book. So this way mean you're going to be reading your Bible and writing about what it is that you experience through the reading 3 times a week. You're going to go to church, and you're going to, whatever it is. So let's say you have spiritual, and then you have another category, relationships. Some of us academic. A lot of the vision board sessions that I do here with students, a lot of their boards are heavily academic, because that's just their lives right now. It's typically relational and academic. Right? So you can have that. You may have boards that are specific to an area. So for example, I have a regular vision board, but I also have a body board. I've given it that name because after having my little babies, my body looks different, but I am in the pursuit of getting to a place where I feel healthy and so on. So I would have done like a body board, and I have this at work with me because I spend most of my day at work, and so I have 2 of my 3 meals or 3 of my 5 meals at work. So you look at this and you're reminded, this is what I probably need to be eating, this is what I want to look like, please do not go and buy any cake, please do not buy.
Why? Yes.
So this focuses on one particular area, and I just have this at work because I eat a lot while I'm at work, and so I have this in my little thing that I engage with, and I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do a couples board. A lot of persons, let me show you, for example, here's a vision board for couples. You can do it. Oops, that's the kids board, but there's a vision board you can do for couples, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can everybody see that?
No, it's not coming up yet. It says you've started screen sharing. So let's try again, please. All right. And to all of you who are saying thank you for the book, you are so welcome. It was my pleasure. Feel free to shoot me an email, which I'll drop in the chat, to tell me what you like and how it has helped you.
So here is at the top of this, it says our dream board. And here you see.
Not showing yet. It's still not coming up. No.
No, still?
No.
All right. So you can do, but let me stop sharing then. Mm-hmm. So you can do, couples boards, like you can do a board with your significant other, where you sit and you discuss in a very serious way, what are the goals and dreams as a couple? Yes. What do we want to achieve together? What should our unity bring to fruition? How should our unity be productive? Because some of us are in some relationships that,
we're not producing much.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Or relationships at this point in our life. If you are going to take yourself and be sitting in a JN life class, it means that you're about the business of leveling up in your life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it means that the relationships that you're engaged in at this point in time have to be productive, have to be fruitful, have to be benefiting persons around you, and then by extension, the wider society. Like that's where you are at.
I heard one particular couple speak about creating a unified vision of love, and I love it so much.
Mm.
A unified vision of love. Like, I know we're individuals, but also together, what do
Yeah.
we want our love to feel like? What do we
Yeah.
want our love to do and to create?
One of the conversations that I enjoy having with my husband is, what is it that we want our home to feel like? What is our parenting philosophy? Yeah. What is it that we want our kids to think and feel when they think about coming home?
Yes.
Home is a fun place. It's a safe place. It's a learning place. You know, these are things, these are discussion. These are the things that are sexy to me, right? Yes. The romance and the whimsy is good.
Yes.
But these are some things that when we talk about visioning and vision board, let us talk about impacts. Let us talk about manifesting some serious things so that life doesn't just happen to us.
And importantly, it ties in to our first segment that Rose spoke about in terms of setting up generational wealth.
Yes.
And for me, I have taken to using the word WELLTHY. That's one of my brand things right now. Because wealthy isn't only about money.
It's not only about money. Yeah.
So I love the idea of you and your husband creating a space that you can pass on and values that you can pass on to your children that will make them WELLTHY, wealthy in that way. So hats off to both of you for doing that. I love it, love it, love it. Rasheen, after you put the images on board, which can be a virtual board or a physical board. So I have my physical board, which I've started recently here.
Yeah.
So I have this woman who just looks so happy. I have
She looks happy and free. Yeah.
I just love the energy.
So I get that.
I'm working on another book. So I have book by Kamala McWhinney, right? I have a couple other things on the other side.
And Kamala, you know what you can do too? You can cut out a picture of your face and put on her body like that to that same, you know what I mean? You can do that and manifest that every day. That energy, that openness, that thing, you can do that.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I have this one, which I found in a JN ad. That's home ownership is 110% possible.
Absolutely.
So I'm putting my vision down for sure for Shizzle. And I'm moving intentionally towards it.
Yeah.
Yes. Rose Miller says, love it, Rasheen, the Robinson home brand. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So after you put the items on board, an important element.
Very importantly. Yes.
No, go ahead. Tell us, what do you do after?
I think we're on the same page. A very important thing now, after you've created this board, and this board can be digitally done, and I'll say very quickly some spaces that some websites and some apps that you can use very quickly. Canva is my favorite for digital boards, because you can then make this your screensaver. So if you use your laptop often, as you open it, you engage with that every day. You spend a moment, you take that in, and then you get to work. So you can use Canva, you can use PicMonkey, not Pink Monkey. PicMonkey is another one you can use. Pinterest, yes, PicMonkey. Thank you, Kamala. You can use Pinterest as well. You can use Visual App, I think is what it's called. Yeah, Visual App, Mind Movies, and you can use Word, you can use PowerPoint, you can use Publisher. Like, it doesn't have to be this complex thing. You can create your digital board. Now, I will say I have a preference for the physical ones because there is something spiritual for me and personal about curating these images, these quotes, and touching it, putting it down for people who are praying people. You know, people lay hands on them board and take it there. You understand what I'm saying? So there's something for me about the physical board that will always just be a part of my process. But let me tell you, importantly, after you put all these things together, you can't go put the vision board underneath your bed, Kamala.
Ideally,
because no, it can't go there, and it can't go gather those somewhere in you. So it needs to be somewhere. Steve's father told him to put the thing where he saw it every day. First thing when him open him eyes, last thing you see before the light and go to bed. This becomes something that you engage with every day. And then the science behind that is that there's a system in our brains that filters information. You understand? And so what that kind of also helps you to do is zone in on this one thing. So one of the things you're going to do after you finish your board is put it somewhere accessible. And when I say accessible, I mean you see it every day, preferably first thing when you open the eyes, or after you do devotion, depending. And it is one of the last things too before you kind of shut your eyes. But there is also something that, apart from just seeing it, you have to make time to engage with the board. You have to make time to engage with the board, Kamala, because you have acknowledged and we have agreed that this is a critical and necessary part of your life now.
Yes.
And I want to play something where you make in art and craft and paint and sip and you put it down to decorate. No, this is now a part of the process of your life.
It's a tool, yes.
It's now a tool that you will carry with you to help you navigate your day, your habits, your choices.
Rasheen, I feel like you just touched on a couple of nerves because I saw 2 hands go up just now. So let me see if any of these persons, I see Monique Graham's hand is up. Monique, do you want to come on stage and share with us your question or comment on lovely Rasheen?
Come girl.
Go ahead, unmute and talk the things then, please.
Hi, are you hearing me?
Loud and clear. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. I have a statement and a comment and a question rather.
Yes.
It's an awesome program. I've been following you from day one, the JN Live. My statement is, Rasheen, I started visioning board about 2 years ago. I'm not perfect. I've seen where some things have manifested. And my question first is, when I did the vision board, obviously everything is not going to happen within a year. So is it that, is it that you do a vision board every year, or how do you transition from the things that didn't happen in year one? Is that do a new vision board to get them into year 2? Just saying.
Yeah, Monique, this is an excellent question. So, Monique, there are persons who do annual vision boards, and some of the same things that were on the vision board that they did, for example, for 2020, they will reuse for their vision board for 2021. I don't know why I used air quotes a while ago. Please stop that, right? They will reuse that, yeah? Then there are persons who do 2-year vision boards. So my last board that I did was, in 2018, I did a 2-year vision board because I thought, when I sat and thought about some of the manifestations or goals I wanted to achieve across a 2-year period, that's what I did. But the thing is, Monique, that, so Kamala asked, what is it that happens when you create the vision board? So we spoke about putting it in somewhere accessible. We spoke about making time to engage with the board. We have to talk about audit. You see, like when you go to work and you're having a mid-year retreat, and then you're having an audit, I don't know where I work, you have this department that comes and audits your department. Yeah, you have to audit where you are with the board. And this can be every 6 months, it can be quarterly. The planner that I have, hold on. The planner that I have this is my 2019 planner. It breaks it up into quarters. So you do your evaluation after each quarter and that sort of thing. And you do that with the board because, listen, humans are complex beings and we change our minds. Different things happen to us and we change. And so you may revisit the board and you may actually take some things off, Monique, and put some other things on. You understand me? So the board can be annual. The board can be biannual. It can be every 2 years. It can be, I know people do 5-year boards. That's a stretch for me. Personally, for me, I don't think that will work for me, but you revisit and you audit. You can decide if you want to do it quarterly. You can decide if you want to do it every 6 months, and then you make changes. You leave it and say, all right, we're on track. or if the year ends and there's some things you didn't achieve and you want to carry it over, if you're doing a new board, you carry it over.
So Rasheen, I'm going to interject here because life is right up on the finish line. But I love the engagement of our audience. Monique, do you have you said you had a question and a comment? Do you have a comment as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So back to the visioning board, just for the audience and for Rasheen, but the Bible actually tells us, not getting spiritual here, but like I said, I've been following visioning board, and the Bible actually tells us, I think in Habakkuk 2 verses 3, and it tells us to write our vision plain on the wall. Write down the vision and make it plain on tablet so that a herald may run with it, for the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks to the end, and it will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come, it will not delay. So us writing down our vision is a word from God, and that is the way to go. God has actually told us that we need to do it.
No, I'm emotional, Kamala.
Come on, Bishop.
No, we're done.
Life class never after nice like this, right? I love it.
Oh my gosh. No.
We can pass around the collection plate right now, Monique. Thank you so much. We have to jump on. We have to move on from Monique because we have to wrap it up nicely and put a bow on it. But Monique, you have added a stellar contribution. Thank you ever so much for following us.
Monique, girl.
That sterling word. Thank you so much.
I just have to put on my sanitizer. I don't even know why I sanitize my name.
Bishop Monique brought the word that we can send around the collection plate now because it turns. So many awesome commendations coming in for you, Rasheen. I feel the passion like oozing out of you. And I feel like we just always want more time with panelists like yourself, Dania and Rose. So we're at 8:30. We're going to have to wrap it up for respect of everyone's time. So Jennifer Clark Twiddle, I'm so sorry we won't have time to take your on microphone question, but I'd just like to give the other gifts away because this is JN Life Class. You know they are generous, right? Can I say we are generous? So we do have another gift for those of you who have a Flow device, and the numbers are 335868 1963 5514. Joe Flower says, superb session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you also, Joe. You are amazing for staying up with us. And I'd like to just invite the other panelists to come back into visibility on stage. And it's like magic, right? Let's appear on stage, guys. And while we're doing this, we're going to launch our post-class, thank you, tech team, you're reading my mind, our post-class poll. Please give us your feedback, as many of you as can. Just respond. This is your gift to us so we can know how we have impacted and we can learn how to, how to plan for future sessions. So in a couple of seconds, I'll take that. But in the meantime, let me just ask Rose, who was the first one who done the place, right? Rose, please to give us your 30-second nugget reminders of how we can move and how we can reset for winning 2021. You're muted, Auntie Rose. You have to go restart the 30 seconds.
Okay, great. 3 quick things.
Okay.
First thing, I want us all to take responsibility for improving our financial education. It's going to make sure that we're able to spot opportunities and take advantage of them. So every day we're going to read something, even 15 minutes, a YouTube video or something, anything. Be always on the upward movement when it comes to your financial education. They not teach this at Howard and any other Ivy League place them. So you have to take responsibility for it, all right? Then the next thing I'm gonna ask is, whatever you learn, please do share with somebody. Start with your family and friends. People, it don't make no sense that you want to get all rich and financial wealthy and your family not along with you because they're not going to leave your yard. So whatever you learn, take them along with you, share with them and with the general friends and family. And then definitely the last thing and the most important, and this is something we said earlier, take action. Knowledge is not power until you activate it. It don't make no sense, it's full up in your head. And we sit down every day and plan to do things. Dr. Steve Maraboli said, take action. An inch of movement will get you closer to your goals than a mile of intention.
Ooh, listen. Auntie Rose, You earn your crown, your stardom, everything tonight. You earn your
bring it on.
We dub thee the queen of the shmoney, right? Thank you so much. Dania, drop some truth on us as we're about to close out. What you want us to remember for our reset?
Please remember that whatever happened to you in 2020 is not an indictment of what will happen to you in 2021. Is not no type of referendum, is no decision about what will happen. It is time for us to be very intentional about our dreams and goals. Put wings on your dreams, fly, see what happens. You know, you can't just stay there with thinking that, oh, I want to do these things. Go ahead and do them. Let that vibration and that positive energy that you surround yourself with, it actually works for you. Stay positive, stay grateful, visualize it, live as if. And please remember, New Year's are mostly about new beginnings. You have life, you have hope, use that time wisely. It's like writing a new book and you have 365 days to do it. Write a good book.
Listen, put some respect on the lady's name, right? The Dania Beckford just dropped some truth in class today. I'm gonna like it a lot. Thank you so much, Dania. And Rasheen, your final 30-second nugget.
You know, life class, it's what do you believe about your life? What do you believe your life could look like? What do you believe are the goals that you deserve, that you really need to achieve? Whatever you focus on expands. Whatever you spend your energy and give your energy to, it expands. So spend time doing the introspection, the investigation, asking the difficult questions and answering them honestly. Create the physical manifestation, engage with it every day, and go and get the life you deserve.
And deserve is one of my favorite words. And when you guys go through the ebook, you will see me break it down into purpose. What do you deserve to have? What do you deserve to be and to do, right? And so to get us thinking along the lines of questioning the cap that we sometimes put on ourselves. We're going to go into the polls now. And the feedback is so heartwarming. So many people are saying it was 2 hours well spent. It was such a thought-provoking session. We did our jobs, ladies. And let me just confirm that with the polls. My mood has improved since the start of this class. 95% of you said yes, ladies. So to all of you for contributing to that. Question 2, I now feel more positive about starting a new year. 91% of you said yes, I will take all of that. Question 3, I received resources for resetting my mindset for success. 90, like the scores them high tonight, ladies, 95%. I love it. I feel more equipped to manifest my goals in 2021 and beyond. 85% of you said yes. And finally, I received what I expected from this class. 63% of you said totally. 37% of you said mostly, and we love every single inch of this feedback. Thank you all. If you loved what you heard and experienced this evening, drop some blue and yellow hearts in the chat to big up JN. They made it all possible. I love them to my heart, right? Thank you to Rasheen, Dania, and Rose for pouring out their hearts and souls into this session. I felt every ounce of it. Thank you so much. And finally, if you like what you did here, come back next week and bring 2 or 3 friends with you. Like, this is really life-changing content. I mean, I toot our own heart. It's true. Like, this is powerful, right? So bring some people so they can benefit too. And next week's session is going to be for love or money, looking at the role of finances, relationship them.
Yeah.
So I know it's going to be hot.
And money.
It's going to be hot. And we are bringing back one of our life class favorites, Mr. Stefan Campbell. And he's always dropping some big truth bombs, right? So thank you to Chef Theo. I think I saw you in the chat for coming back this week. You were awesome last session. Thanks to Trevisa, Kellyanne, Faith Lane, all of you for showing us so much love. Thanks to the JNT, much love. Enjoy the workbook, send the feedback, and come back next week, 6:30 for more delicious content to build your favorite life. Thank you all. Be well. Dania, send me that picture that you're taking right now. Have a wonderful start to your new year. Believe in yourselves. Go for the life that we all deserve and give something to other people as much as we can. Generosity is the reason for the season. So be about that life as well. My love, no? Love the space. Until next time. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody. Be safe and take care.
Bye, Kamala.
Bye-bye.